Today we're very excited because we have Hope Giddings with us. Hope is a 2025 sophomore who currently plays basketball for the Sandia Matadors, high school basketball, of course, and then, of course, she does play club basketball for the Albuquerque Basketball Club. So how are you doing today, Hope? How's everything going?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So, Hope, heading into this new season, what are some of the things that you're looking for this upcoming high school season?
I'm looking forward to a lot. I'm really excited to play with my team that I've been practicing and training with this summer. I feel like we've grown a lot, and we've grown a lot since last season, so I'm really excited to show everyone just what we've been doing, and I'm excited to get back on the court.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I know from my end, I'm very excited to watch what you ladies do this year because I did follow you last year. Obviously, you've been with ID My Athlete since we started, and you have a very strong team. You have a very young team. So what was good is last year you were very competitive, right? 17-11 overall. Made the state tournament and definitely, battled some very tough teams and, had a very successful season. I take it that's something that, is probably driving you all this year, right? What is some of that motivation that you guys are carrying into this upcoming season?
Well, I'd say just losing to La Cueva in the first round of state has really motivated us to not let that happen again. And we really are just trying to chase the blue trophy. So that's what's really motivating us.
And I love that, Hope, because, for anybody who doesn't know, I did coach youth basketball. It's probably been 4 or 5 years ago. And we had the opportunity to, of course, coach and play against, your teams. And the fun part about you, Hope, is that you have always been a very versatile player. And the thing is that every time I turn on, to watch your games, it's the same game you had when you were, growing up through youth basketball that you do now. You're not afraid to drive to the hole. You're not afraid to pull up for a 3-pointer. You're a very versatile player that does whatever your team needs. Is that something that is that just the way you've always known to play, or do you pattern your game off of anybody?
Well, growing up, I've always watched my brother and my sister play, and I've just always been in the gym, watching games. So I just try to see what other people do that are more experienced than me, and I try to put it into my game. And I like to change up what I do a lot and just I don't know, I just like to have different varieties of things to do when I'm playing basketball. So
yeah, and it shows Hope, and I think that's the thing that makes you a very attractive player to coaches is the fact that you could do anything that's needed, right? If the team needs to catch up and the long ball is needed, you're going to take that. If you need to go to the hoop, get to the foul line, you're going to do that. So I think that's great. And one of the things you brought up is that you're always in the gym. And, a lot of people say that, but following you and seeing what, is posted about you and what you're doing, that's no lie. Whether you're on your own working on your game. I know correct me if I'm wrong, at your mom's house, you have a hoop there that the team used to practice at. Now at Sandia High School, you're always practicing. You're what's known as a gym rat, right? And I think you take great pride. You take great pride in it, and that's what's great. What do you try to do? What's your mindset going in when you're putting in that work before, games, when you're putting in that extra time?
Well, I just, when I think about it, I just think that there's people that are always working harder than you. So if I'm not in the gym, someone else is. So I just like to have the mindset to try to be better than everyone else that's around me and just try to improve every day to make myself better.
And that's the absolute truth, right? Because anybody can say that, and you've probably heard it, right? We can watch NBA, WNBA, whatever, and we always hear that. But unless you are literally living that life, right, of being on the court and working on your game. And, I assume probably nights after games, you probably wanted to get right back on that court to work on things that you may have needed from that game. So I tell you what, watching and being able to see that you do that, I know is a true inspiration to other athletes, and something that I think once again really aids you as you move through your high school career to, achieving those goals of making it to the next level of whatever that might be. So one of the other questions I wanted to ask you, Hope, is that, aside from playing basketball, you also play volleyball for Sandia High School. What got you into volleyball? What was your main, focus of playing that as well?
Well, my sister played volleyball in high school, and I just remember I'd always loved going to her games and watching it. And I think it's a really fun sport to play and watch, so I wanted to play it too, and I did. And I just like to play it during high. I don't play club volleyball, but I play during the high school season just to kind of give me a break from basketball. And it's like I like to do other things too. So volleyball is something that I like to do as well. And it
And
also,
aside,
yeah,
oh, go ahead, go
sorry.
ahead.
It helps me with basketball, I think, because the position I play, it's constantly moving, like a middle blocker. So it helps me move my feet, I think, and yeah.
And that's exactly what I was just going to ask you. I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
how you felt that it improved your game, and I think you hit it. I mean, with volleyball, it's a lot of footwork. It's a lot of, jumping up, coming down, landing. It's a lot of stuff you're going to do on the basketball court, right? Over and over. So, that's one of those things in a day and age where it's very hard for athletes, especially in, 5A, 6A, where it feels like you just have to concentrate on one sport, that you're able to, do multiple sports. So that's one of the other things we've been following with you too, is just seeing that you're a true testament that being a multi-sport athlete really helps you, in all facets of your game. So, so jumping back, Hope, to the upcoming season, right? Basketball season. Aside from, winning a championship, which is always the ultimate goal, right? Growing and improving as a team. What are some of those goals that you have set for yourself, not only looking towards this season, but beyond? Where would you like to see your basketball game take you?
Well, I really would like to play at the next level for basketball, so that's what I mainly do it for, because that's what I want to do. Like in college, I want to play college basketball, so I just want to find any opportunity I can to play at the next level. So that's one of my main goals, and I just want to get better every day for myself and for my team. Just so, yeah. That's pretty
Yeah,
much
no,
it.
and I think that's a perfect answer, because that's the ultimate thing, right? Is it feels like it's so far away, but really it's going to move quick, right? And you're talking about wanting to play at that next level, playing college. You've been fortunate enough that even as a freshman, before you stepped into your sophomore year, you already had basically an offer, right? A college, asking you to commit. And I believe as of right now, it's Northern New Mexico College. And you also have received some recent interest with Adams State. How has that gone? How is that feeling of knowing early on in your basketball career, you already have some college programs that are interested in you?
Well, honestly, it was a relief because that is something that my dad gets mad at me for doing it, but I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm I see other players getting offers, and it's well, I want one too. So I am really fortunate and blessed that I have schools that would want me to play for them. So I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, and I love that, because you're right. It's whether, far too often with many sports, it depends when the process starts for everybody, right? With recruiting. I think the good thing of what you're doing, Hope, is that you're going to camps. You're putting yourself in position to be seen. And I think that's one of the important parts, right? So I think the biggest thing that you said too is is feeling that pressure when you see others getting, and doing that. And, the one thing we've always told athletes we've talked to as well is that, use it as motivation, right? And that's exactly what you've done. You've used it as motivation to up your game and say, what do they have that I don't, and how can I get myself to that level? So, I mean, Hope, there's no doubt in our mind that you're going to get many more offers. But of course, in your mind, it's like when you start the second half of a game and you might be up by 20 and coach tells you, hey, 0-0, start the game, right? It's going to be like that through your career. You might have some coaches who are interested in you, but you can never rest on your laurels and think that's going to be it. So, I think, that's great. And we look forward to hearing more about the schools that are going to be interested in you. So, one of the things that you talked to us about, or you just mentioned a little while ago, is your sister and your brother, right? Both athletes as well. Your sister, and correct me if I'm wrong, your sister was an all-star volleyball and basketball player. Am I correct? And then your brother, basketball player. And I don't know, did your brother graduate already, or is he still?
Yeah, my brother graduated last year.
Graduated, but he played a lot of basketball, very good athletic player as well. The one thing that I think is great in following you, Hope, and seeing is that you have a ton of support from your family, right? And it's whether it's your dad, it's your mom, it's your grandma, your grandparents. I know your grandfather was a big inspiration in all of your lives. Your sister, your brother, everybody there. You have a traveling fan base with you wherever you go. How has that helped you, Hope? How has that helped you through the process?
Yes, my family, they're really invested in what I do. I know that they're always there for me to support me, and they're at all my games, and it really motivates me a lot because it makes me want to do it not only for myself but for them too, because I know that they see a lot of potential in me, so I want to show them what I can do.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And do you find it as a like, does it push you? Like, does it make you feel like I have to perform because otherwise they're probably going to tell me what I didn't do? Is that what
Yeah,
you kind of
yeah,
feel with it
yeah. They're
with your?
always. Sorry, go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. No. You go
Well,
ahead.
they're always pushing me and telling me, like, they like to joke with me a lot. So if I have a bad game, they'll make sure to tell me that I had a bad game. So it pushes me to do my best for them.
Right. And I think that's the fun part, right? Because that's that thing of, if they didn't care and they didn't love you and didn't want to support you, they wouldn't even be there. And so, like I said, that's a fun part. And, one of the other things I think is, obviously, knowing your dad, and, he's been a coach for a long time in this circuit, is, you obviously spend a lot of time with him as well. And I know that you spend a lot of time, making videos together and doing different things. How has that support been? To me, what I see when I see that is, it looks like it almost relaxes you in a way, that it's something that, having your dad who's kind of involved with you in those kind of ways kind of keeps you going and motivated. Is that what we're seeing? Is that how you feel as well?
Yes, because I know that there are a lot of parents that just have their kids like, oh, we play basketball. But like, I know that my dad he likes to do other things with me, and he takes a lot of the stress off of me by, like, he's always making sure that I'm having fun. Like, he'll tell me, like, yeah, you need to take it serious, but you also need to have fun. You can't let it take over your life to where you don't want to do it anymore. Like, you always need to enjoy what you do. So it does help me a
And,
lot.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that is some of the best advice right there, because that's kind of the same thing that I've pushed to my children, and the same thing, when play sports and stuff, because it's like you said, right? When you're dealing with the recruiting process, you're dealing with, do coaches like me? Do they not? Am I doing what I need to do or not? You can drive yourself crazy. Am I right? And I think what you're doing is you have found your release in putting in the work, in embracing your fact that your family's got your back. That regardless of what happens on that court, you got people behind you, and that, and that you're going to have fun in the process. And if there's anything that we want to pass on to anybody watching this as well, is exactly what you just said. Have fun in what you're doing, because ultimately what's meant to happen will happen, and it'll all work out. But Hope, we know you're very busy, and you got some things coming up. As before we wrap it up, one of the other things that, and one of the reasons you got to head off now is you're heading off to go scout, right? You like to go watch games and kind of see what other teams are doing. Tell us what you look for. This is the one thing I really wanted to ask you, because I know that you and your dad and your family, you'll go watch other games as well. And I'm sure it's to support other players, but I know you're going for a reason. What are you looking for when you go to scout a game, Hope?
Well, I love to go watch other people play, especially people that I'm going to play, because I like to watch and focus on like what they're doing, and like the offenses teams run, like the defenses, how certain players play, and I like to watch it, and so I can think about what I can do to win when we play against them, and how, like, what my team can do to win. So
I love that. And is that do you find it as a habit of, after doing that, of getting with your teammates and letting them know, hey, she likes to go left, she loves to drive to the hoop? I mean, do you find you all having those conversations?
Yeah, that's what we're about to do now. We're going to watch a basketball game. Two of the teams that we're playing, we're going to watch them play. So we're going to sit and just focus on like what they do, what certain players do, because there are a lot of talented players that we're going to be playing this year. So we want to focus on like what they do and try to stop it so we can win. So
yeah. So, well, I love that, Hope. And I think everything about what you're doing is you're doing it the right way right now. And that's what's fun as an outsider watching this, that, your work ethic, your want to get better in any way possible, whether it's recruiting, whether it's being that gym rat, like we talked about, playing another sport because you know that it's going to help you in what you do. I think you have a bright future. Your team, I'm very excited to watch Sandia this year. I am, because you have some young girls. I know Prep Girls Hoops right now has you projected as or ranked 5th in the 2025 class, and three of you who are sophomores right now are in the top 6. And I think that's something that's exciting. So there's lots of good basketball ahead. Definitely keep us informed of everything that you're doing and all the good stuff. I know you're a good student as well, Hope, and keep it up in the classroom. Keep doing what you're doing. And is there anything that you want to leave us off with? Is there something we didn't ask you, or something you wanted to say that you want to make sure we get out there about you?
No, I think we covered mostly everything. I just want to say thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and everything that you do to help me.
Oh no, it's definitely our pleasure, and like I said, we'll be following you, and we look forward to what you're going to do. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure, and once again, everybody, thank you for joining us for this podcast with Hope Giddings. Once again, Hope Giddings is a sophomore at Sandia High School. She's a 2025. She also plays club basketball for the Albuquerque Basketball Club in Albuquerque, which is a very high level basketball club that does travel nationally, plays a lot of top-ranked teams, top-ranked players. So I know we spoke a lot about high school because high school's coming up, but, as club ball starts again too, we'd love to visit with you again and, inform people how you're doing there. But thank you again for joining us, Hope, and we'll definitely talk to you soon. Safe travels to wherever you're headed, and have a happy Thanksgiving, okay?
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Once again, we want to thank everybody for joining us for the 5th episode of the ID My Athlete podcast with Hope Giddings. Stay tuned for future podcasts coming up, and definitely visit idmyathlete.com to listen to some of our other podcasts and to view some of our services and anything else we offer for youth athletes, for college athletes, professional athletes, whoever you are. We want to help get your name out there. So also definitely follow ID My Athlete on our social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. By following us, you're helping us spread the word of our athletes. As we do our posts, we hope that you can share and like so that people become aware of our athletes and those who are trying to make it to the next level and who are doing good things in their communities and schools. So once again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next podcast.